Hello, designers. Which is the best method for you to create your gift baskets using shrink wrap? Is it with the plume on top and the bow just beneath the plume? Or is it the way you see here on the screen, which is having the shrink wrap underneath the basket or the gift taped underneath, and then you start to shrink wrap? Your customers will definitely let you know which method is their favorite, and perhaps that's the one you do most often. In either case, whether you have the plume on top or the taping on the bottom, you can still add the bow. Of course, with the plume, you add the bow right between the plume and the top of the basket. Or in this method that you see where the basket is cinched on the bottom, or the shrink wrap is cinched on the bottom, you can still use a skewer to pierce the shrink wrap on top and then add the bow by putting the curling ribbon loops through those piercings and add the bow. Not a difficult way to do that at all. And thankfully, with the piercing, in most cases, you will not break the shrink wrap so that it starts to split. In either case, plume on top or shrink wrapping on the bottom, you can see in this example that it is pretty easy. At first, it's not very easy, but most times it is easy to shrink wrap the gift one time. Sometimes there's an experiment in shrink wrapping, but it takes a very short amount of time through that experimentation to get your shrink wrapping just perfect. Now, this photo that you see, the shrink wrap is not totally done. There's a lot of creases, there's a lot of shrinking that needs to be done. And it's done with a heat gun that you can either get from a wholesale supplier, or one of our favorite places is a home improvement store where we get a paint gun. It's called a heat gun, but it's also a paint gun. We hold that gun about 6 to 8 inches from the shrink wrapping so that we're not burning through the shrink wrap and we have to start the shrink wrapping all over again. And then we start with the front of the basket, as you can see here in the photo. Start with the front of the basket and move the heat gun from side to side, and also move the basket or the gift around, going in the same direction, side to side. It's wonderful to also use a lazy Susan so that you can easily move the gift basket from side to side. From working in the front of the gift basket, then we're turning it on the sides or and in the back. We're moving the heat gun up until we get to the top of the basket and shrink the top. Then we move to the very bottom and then the underside of the basket so that everything is all done. I'll share with you some more tips about shrink wrapping through some links that I have in the description. If you have any questions about shrink wrapping, you know where to put it in the comments area. And we'll be talking about a lot more techniques soon so that you can learn, grow, and profit. I'm Shirley George Frazier, wishing you baskets of success.